What if I told you that Taco Bell's seasoned beef was once legally challenged for containing only 35% actual beef, and that the company heating their meat in plastic bags is literally injecting cancer-causing chemicals directly into your food? Today, I'm going to expose the shocking truth about Taco Bell's toxic ingredients, their history of food scandals that would make you sick, and reveal how American fast food corporations are systematically poisoning millions of adults and children for pure profit. We'll dive into the lawsuits, the recalls, the horse meat scandals, and the banned chemicals that are still ending up in your Crunchwrap Supreme. But here's why you absolutely need to watch until the very end. I'm going to show you documented proof that these corporations know their food is destroying public health, how the FDA is completely failing to protect you, and why Taco Bell's recent commitment to remove toxic chemicals by 2025 is actually an admission of guilt that they've been poisoning customers for decades. Plus, I'll reveal the one Taco Bell ingredient that's literally made from insect cocoons. Let's start with the most shocking scandal in Taco Bell's history, the lawsuit that exposed their seasoned beef for what it really is. In 2011, a class action lawsuit alleged that Taco Bell's seasoned beef contained only 35% actual beef. Think about that for a second. You're paying for beef, but getting less than half of what you ordered. Taco Bell fought back, claiming their seasoned beef was 88% beef. But here's the kicker. Even if we believe their number, that means 12% of what you're eating isn't beef at all. So what exactly is that other 12%? According to Taco Bell's own ingredient list, their seasoned beef contains oats, soy lecithin, maltodextrin, modified cornstarch, and something called trehalose, which is literally a sugar derived from insect cocoons. Yes, you heard that right. You're eating bug sugar in your taco. But it gets worse. The seasoning blend contains cellulose, which is essentially wood pulp, the same stuff used to make paper. They're literally putting sawdust in your food and calling it seasoning. And that's just what they're admitting to. The lawsuit was eventually dropped, but not because Taco Bell proved their beef was legitimate. It was dropped because proving the exact percentage of beef in processed food is nearly impossible when it's mixed with dozens of other chemicals and fillers. Now here's something that will absolutely horrify you. And this information just went viral in 2024. Taco Bell heats their pre-cooked meat in plastic bags using a method called sous vide. Sounds fancy, right? Wrong. It's actually a systematic way to inject toxic chemicals directly into your food. When food is heated in plastic, especially at high temperatures, the plastic releases phthalates and microplastics directly into the food. These aren't just harmless additives. These are endocrine disruptors that literally interfere with your hormone system. Phthalates have been directly linked to reduced testosterone in men, increased estrogen in both men and women, reproductive issues, birth defects, early puberty in children, and even certain cancers. And Taco Bell is heating millions of pounds of meat this way every single day. But here's the most disturbing part. They know this is happening. Studies have found these exact chemicals in Taco Bell food samples. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Exposure Science and Environmental Epidemiology found that Taco Bell foods contained DEHT, a replacement plasticizer that hasn't even been fully studied for long-term health effects. Think about that. They're using your body as a test subject for chemicals that haven't been proven safe. And they're doing it knowingly because heating food in plastic is cheaper than using safe cooking methods. Taco Bell's history reads like a horror story of food safety failures. Let me walk you through just some of their most shocking recalls and scandals. In 2019, Taco Bell had to recall 2.3 million pounds of seasoned beef because customers were finding metal shavings in their food. Metal shavings. Imagine biting into your taco and cutting your mouth on pieces of metal. This wasn't a small batch. This was 2.3 million pounds distributed across 21 states. But that's nothing compared to their E. coli outbreaks. In 2006, Taco Bell was linked to a massive E. coli outbreak that sickened dozens of people across multiple states. 8 people developed hemolytic uremic syndrome, a life-threatening kidney condition. The culprit? Contaminated lettuce that Taco Bell continued serving even after people started getting sick. Then there's the horse meat scandal. In 2013, Taco Bell's European locations were found to be serving horse meat instead of beef. Horse meat. They were literally lying about what animal you were eating. And this wasn't an accident. This was part of a widespread European food fraud network. And here's the most telling part. When these scandals broke, Taco Bell's response wasn't to improve their food safety. It was to hire better PR firms to manage the damage to their reputation. Let me break down what you're actually consuming when you eat at Taco Bell, because it's not food, it's a chemistry experiment. Their nacho cheese sauce isn't cheese at all. It's a cheese food product containing less than 51% actual cheese. The rest is oils, preservatives, artificial flavors, and something called maltodextrin, a highly processed starch that spikes your blood sugar faster than pure glucose. The Doritos Locos taco shells contain artificial colors yellow number 5, yellow number 6, red number 40, and blue number 1, all petroleum-derived chemicals that have been linked to hyperactivity in children and immune system disruption. These colors are actually banned in several European countries, but the FDA allows them in American food. Even their fresh ingredients are loaded with chemicals. The lettuce is treated with chlorine washes, the tomatoes contain preservatives, and the sour cream has 15 different ingredients, including carrageenan, a seaweed extract that causes inflammation in your digestive system. But here's the most shocking ingredient of all. Their seasoned beef contains something called silicon dioxide. You know what silicon dioxide is? It's sand. They're literally putting sand in your taco meat and calling it a processing aid. Now here's where this gets really sinister. These corporations know exactly what they're doing to public health, and they're doing it intentionally because sick people are profitable customers. Internal documents from tobacco companies in the 1990s revealed that food companies hired the same scientists and marketing firms to make their products addictive. They specifically engineer foods to hit what they call the bliss point, the perfect combination of sugar, salt, and fat that triggers addiction pathways in your brain. Taco Bell's menu items are designed to be addictive. The combination of high fructose corn syrup, MSG, artificial flavors, and seed oils creates a neurochemical response identical to drug addiction. That's why you crave Taco Bell, even though you know it makes you feel terrible afterward. But here's the most damning evidence. In 2020, Taco Bell quietly announced they would phase out harmful chemicals from their packaging by 2025. This wasn't a proactive health measure. This was damage control after studies found cancer-causing PFAS chemicals in their food wrappers. Think about that admission. They're saying they'll stop using harmful chemicals by 2025, which means they're admitting they've been knowingly using harmful chemicals for decades. How many people got cancer from those chemicals? How many children's development was affected? They don't care because the lawsuits cost less than changing their process. You might be thinking, where's the FDA in all this? Aren't they supposed to protect us? Here's the shocking truth. The FDA is completely captured by the food industry they're supposed to regulate. The FDA allows over 3,000 food additives that are banned in Europe. Chemicals like potassium bromate, azodicarbonamide, and BHA are considered so dangerous that European countries won't allow them in food. But in America, they're in everything. The FDA's generally recognized as safe GRAS system is a complete joke. Companies can literally declare their own chemicals safe without any independent testing. Taco Bell can add a new chemical preservative to their food, declare it GRAS, and start serving it to millions of people without the FDA ever reviewing the safety data. Even worse, the FDA allows companies to hide ingredients under vague terms like natural flavors and spices. That natural flavor in your Taco Bell sauce could be any one of thousands of chemicals, and you'll never know what you're actually consuming. The revolving door between the FDA and food companies is so obvious, it's almost comical. Former FDA officials regularly take high-paying jobs at the companies they used to regulate, and food company executives get appointed to FDA leadership positions. It's regulatory capture at its most blatant. The results of this corporate poisoning are all around us, and the statistics are absolutely terrifying. Since the 1980s, when ultra-processed foods became dominant in the American diet, we've seen unprecedented increases in chronic diseases. Childhood obesity has tripled since 1980. Type 2 diabetes, once called adult-onset diabetes, is now common in children as young as 10 years old. Autoimmune diseases, ADHD, autism, and food allergies have all skyrocketed in direct correlation with the rise of processed food consumption. But here's what's really disturbing. These aren't unintended consequences. Food companies have internal research showing exactly what their products do to human health. They know that seed oils cause inflammation. They know that high fructose corn syrup causes insulin resistance. They know that artificial colors affect children's behavior. A leaked internal Coca-Cola document from 2015 showed the company knew their products were causing obesity and diabetes, but they spent millions funding fake research to blame lack of exercise instead of their sugar-laden drinks. The same playbook is being used by every major food company, including Taco Bell's parent company, Yum Brands. The most heartbreaking part? Children are the primary targets. Fast food companies spend billions on marketing specifically designed to hook children on their addictive products. They use cartoon characters, toys, and bright colors to make their toxic food appealing to developing brains that can't understand the long-term consequences. This wasn't always the case. Before the 1980s, when these ultra-processed foods didn't exist, chronic diseases were rare. Heart attacks in people under 50 were almost unheard of. Childhood diabetes was so rare it barely made medical textbooks. Our great-grandparents ate real food, meat, vegetables, fruits, and grains that weren't loaded with chemicals. They cooked with natural fats like butter and lard, not industrial seed oils that were originally used as machine lubricants. The transformation of our food supply happened gradually, so most people didn't notice. But the health consequences have been catastrophic. We now have the first generation in human history that's expected to live shorter lives than their parents. And it's directly because of what we're eating. Countries that have resisted American-style processed foods have much lower rates of chronic disease. Japan, with their traditional diet of fish, rice, and vegetables, has obesity rates under 5%. France, which still prioritizes real food and has strict regulations on food additives, has significantly lower rates of diabetes and heart disease. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. Taco Bell, McDonald's, KFC, and every other fast food chain are not food companies. They're chemical companies that happen to sell edible products. They've turned food into a drug delivery system designed to create addiction and chronic disease. The seasoned beef with insect-derived sugars, the plastic-heated meat injecting hormone disruptors into your body, the metal shavings, the horse meat, the banned chemicals in packaging. This isn't incompetence. This is a systematic poisoning of the American population for profit. And the most infuriating part? They're getting away with it because they've captured the very agencies that are supposed to protect us. The FDA isn't protecting your health. They're protecting corporate profits. But you have power. Every time you choose real food over processed garbage, you're voting with your wallet. Every time you cook a meal at home instead of going to Taco Bell, you're taking back control of your health. The solution isn't complicated. Eat real food. Meat, eggs, vegetables, fruits, foods with one ingredient, foods your great-grandmother would recognize. It's not more expensive when you factor in the medical bills you'll avoid. It's not more time-consuming when you consider the years of healthy life you'll gain. Your children are counting on you to break this cycle. The fast food industry is literally stealing their future health for quarterly profits. Don't let them. The next time you're tempted by that Crunchwrap Supreme, remember, you're not buying food. You're buying a chemical weapon disguised as a meal. Choose life instead.